I'd like to welcome everybody to the SGA Annual Conference, the second conference that we've run and the first one that we've been able to run in person like this. So it's amazing to see everybody in the room, although I guess it does mean on top of everything else that I need to worry about today, I sort of also now have to worry about the social anxiety of having worked on something for 3 years and realizing that there's loads of people in this room that I may or may not have met in real life. So while I navigate that particular social anxiety, I hope you all have a fantastic day. And of course, in the best interests of a post-pandemic hybrid world, we're now streaming live to people at home, in offices, coffee shops around the country. So I hope that we manage to make it a great experience for everybody in person and in the room. A couple of housekeeping things from me. I don't think we're expecting a fire drill, so if there is one, it's the real thing, and we will vacate out through the doors and the staff will take us to the evacuation point. I trust you've all found the facilities through the main area there on the left. You've seen the agenda. We're trying to keep a paper-free agenda as far as possible, but there are a couple of paper copies knocking around. Got a morning session, an afternoon session, a break in both, and a lunchtime. So plenty of opportunity to catch up with old friends, new connections, and of course, we are being joined online, and I don't want to leave the people online out at all. So hopefully you've navigated your way around the virtual app. You should all have had links to the virtual platform and the app. Now the app and the platform both contain the agenda, information about speakers, ability to ask questions in the app whether you're in the room or not. So there'll be a roving mic for people in the room asking questions of our panelists and our speakers, but you can also submit through the app as well, and I'll be picking them up here and putting those to our panelists. There's also an exhibitor lounge online, and you'll find information about all our supporting organisations. So all of the sports councils have got information and documents on there, and you'll also see some information from the Charter Governance Institute, which is obviously who I work for and who deliver the SGA on behalf of the sports councils. There's actually, for the CGI as well, there's also a real stand. So we've got Con out there who's come over from Ireland just for this event. So go be nice to Con and find out more about the Charter Governance Institute. And I think, yes, so the sessions are being recorded. They will be available on the platform. I think, I'm going to double check this, but I think they'll be available on the platform for 2 weeks after the event, but we'll be uploading them to the SGA website anyway, so they'll be available forever on there should you want to go and catch up. If there's any problems with the platform, please email you should all have this in your joining instructions, but hello@miceconcierge.com, and they will take care of any technical issues. If there's any problems in the venue, please see myself or my colleague Jess, who is there on the right. So just give one of us a shout or Con, and we'll do everything we can to help you. We do have a hashtag for today's conference, so if you want to say nice things about the conference, preferably only nice things about the conference, please use the hashtag SGAConf22 on social media and get the conversation going on there. So onto the agenda. Looking ahead to the rest of the day, we've got about 25 speakers and panelists today, so a world of information and expertise for you to take away, hopefully learn some new things, take some new ideas back to your organisations. We've tried to cover a broad range of topics that we think are relevant to organisations in the sector, defined relatively broadly, but we're trying to link them through the theme of cascading good governance, obviously a central feature in the Code for Sports Governance, but I think also we focus a lot of our attention, quite rightly, a lot of the time on getting things in order at the top of an organisation, at the centre of an organisation, but really the culture of good governance only really starts to take hold when that finds its way throughout all of an organisation's levels and all of its activities. So what we want to do today is try and look at ways in which particular themes can be cascaded down throughout an organisation. You often hear about a golden thread, and it's attaching things to those golden threads that we want to focus on today. So we hope that today helps you in that regard, and that all the topics on the agenda help you in some way or other in your organisations. and I'm going to kick off, bearing in mind I am already a couple of minutes behind schedule, so not the greatest chairing skills from me. But we're going to kick off by hearing our keynote address from Jeanette Bain-Burdett, the fairly new Director of Policy and Integrity at Sport England. Obviously, Sport England have been an enormous help and support in getting the SGA off the ground and keeping it running. And Jeanette's team have been huge help in that regard, and obviously Phil Smith before her. So we owe a massive debt to the governance team at Sport England. And to kick us off, we're going to hear from Jeanette about the power of governance and making it work for organisations in the sector. Jeanette?
Good morning, everyone. I just took the long route because I thought there was a step on this side, but apparently you have to exercise to get up onto the podium this morning. It's really great to be here with you, and I'm especially excited to be face to face. I know that some of you are joining virtually, so I'd like to welcome everyone who's here in person and also those who are joining us virtually. And as Craig said, this is the second SGA conference, but it's the first one we've had a chance to actually see people and talk to people. And I think we really should make the most of the opportunity of being together today. So I'd like to say thank you to Craig and his team for pulling together such a wonderful program. It looks really varied and really interesting, and I'm hoping that we get a lot out of it today. So this is my first SGA conference. And previous attendees will have seen my colleague Phil Smith start these events. And I'm really pleased that he has handed the baton to me, and that will be my last sports analogy. So I'm new to Sport England. My background in my early career is in dance, and so I'm close to physical activity, but I've worked across a lot of different fields. But there's lots of alignment and overlap with sport and the work that I've done in many ways. And I'm learning as I've come closer to the sports sector that, as I suspected, it's a sector brimming with possibility. There's inspiration everywhere I turn, and I'm a person that really thrives in that place of possibility, a dreamer, if you like. I'm also conscious of the huge responsibility to make sure that people of all ages and backgrounds have positive, inclusive experiences in nurturing environments as they explore, enjoy, and excel at sport. So I started this new role as Executive Director for Policy and Integrity just under 3 months ago. And as part of this role, I have oversight of our governance work, and I'm pleased that I'll be supporting our partnership with the CGI going forward. They're a key strategic partner, providing the Sports Governance Academy as a governance support hub for the sector. I'm pleased to therefore have the chance to give this address, to get to know some of you working in this area of the sector, and to share some reflections that I hope will resonate with you throughout the day. So I'm going to use this time for 3 things. First, a few reflections from me about the power and possibilities of good governance and the importance of the work we'll be exploring today, in light of some of the challenges that we're facing together. Secondly, a bit of our vision and the plan for the future of the SGA, as we continue to be committed to supporting your work, our work in governance. And finally, a call to action to make the most of the SGA, to make it something that belongs to all of us, something that everyone can get involved in shaping and leading. So starting out with some reflections about the importance of the work that you do and some of the challenges that we face together. As I was preparing for today, I found myself reflecting on what for me lies at the heart of our efforts to enable good governance. It struck me that in my experience, at its heart, good governance is really about trust. I came across a quote that resonated with me. It's from a leadership specialist called Lolly Daskell, who suggests that trust is built and maintained by many small actions over time. And I thought that really captured for me what governance is about. Many small actions over time. It's been clear to me as I've started to learn more about the sector that governance plays a crucial role in how we're perceived, in our ability to truly act and truly lead. I find myself asking the question, how do we build trust? And how do we demonstrate that we are trustworthy? Daskell asserts that building trust and maintaining it, being trustworthy, requires persistent, incremental action. Sport England's Uniting the Movement strategy recognizes good governance as a catalyst for change. We recognize that unless we get this right, we won't be able to lead long-lasting change. So we're committed to working with you to drive governance improvement forward across the sector, because we know that unless we become better at connecting the decisions we make as sector leaders to people's experiences of sport and physical activity, we will not meet our ambition of truly healthier, happier communities. We must take many small actions together over time. So over the last months, we've seen examples in the media and just in our everyday work as sports practitioners of where we need urgent improvement. Now, sometimes those high-profile stories mask the ways in which we're already growing and changing as a sector. So part of my briefing coming into this role was to hear about the Code for Sports Governance and the compliance processes and the progress being made as a result. However, we must hold ourselves to the highest possible standards, even as we're energized by evidence of some positive steps. It's clear that we still have a lot of work to do, a lot of trust to build, and we need to be up for the challenge, as some of the work we need to do is complex, and some of the changes we need to make will take time to bed in. But if we are persistent in taking small actions, we'll see lasting change. I'm sure you all know some of the stuff that we're facing. We face very real concerns around racism in sport, the management of complaints, welfare, safety, and well-being of individuals, inclusion, diversity, regional governance, a lack of self-regulation, and then concerns about external regulation in general, and also a lack of consideration of environmental and social issues when making decisions. These are all concerns that require us to take action on how we build our structures, how we create our policies, and take into account wider issues relating to ethics and integrity. We have to be ready to take on these issues, and we have to find answers together to drive improvement in these areas for the good of the people that we serve. And it strikes me that we can approach this challenge in different ways. The first way, of course, is through compliance. Compliance with the revised Code for Sports Governance, which we would encourage. You're going to hear later from Lindsay and Rob about the revised code, and from other Sport England and UK Sport colleagues about some of the new requirements, such as people plans and cascading governance. And we hope that as together we comply with these new requirements, it creates a mandate for us to drive change and improve our organizations in these areas. But we also recognize that transactional compliance with the code isn't enough. It's just one part of the journey. The other way we can tackle these issues is through a focus on culture. One of the things that attracted me to Sport England is our values. Our values are focused on creating a culture that's inclusive, ambitious, collaborative, and innovative. We are all learning and growing in how to translate these values into behaviors in a meaningful way. And when we succeed, we see glimpses of powerful cultural change. My inkling is that very few of our governance efforts will make a lasting impact on the partners and people we serve unless we're willing to change the way we behave. So compliance alone won't change the sector. We have to strive for behaviors to reinforce the changes we make and to go beyond compliance to culture. If we're to succeed in building and maintaining trust, we must take action. But that action must remain relevant to the people we most want to serve. So working in a relational way will be a key feature of our approach. But Jeanette, I hear you say, Enough general reflections. Let me move on to sharing our journey so far with the Sports Governance Academy and the practical ways in which we plan to continue to help and support you with your governance work. So I'm going to talk about work that I had nothing to do with, but that I'm very supportive of. We started working with the Chartered Governance Institute in 2019 to set up and deliver the Sports Governance Academy. It was December 2019 when our partnership officially started, and we all know that our world and the way it operates changed completely in the first part of 2020. So now we operate in this new world in lots of new ways, and not in ways that we envisaged we would at the start of the partnership. But we're really proud of the changes made to the model and feel that over the last 3 years, the Sports Governance Academy has started to become the go-to place for governance support in the sector. It's great that the SGA team has been able to successfully reshape its approach in a rapidly changing context, like all of us have had to struggle to do over the past 3 years. The SGA Academy has 700 people across the sector registered to access its resources, courses, and learning materials. And we know some 270 of those registered have attended specific training courses run by the Academy. That is an amazing achievement. So whether those are to be the essential sports governance, leading sports governance, or chairing masterclasses, people are really skilling up through the Academy. We also know that many of you value the knowledge base and the resources provided to help you with developing new policies or approaches to governance tasks in your organization. The success of the SGA as a governance support program has in fact been so strong that we're now in a position where all the sports councils are coming together to partner with the CGI on the next phase of the Sports Governance Academy. This is extremely powerful, and we're proud to stand alongside UK Sport, Sport Scotland, Sport Wales, Sport Northern Ireland, and Sport Ireland to be working together on ensuring the Sports Governance Academy develops into a central hub of governance for the sector, for everyone, regardless of where they're based across the UK and Ireland. Our vision is for the SGA to provide support, learning, and resources to everyone. I know you'll be hearing from colleagues from each of the sports councils towards the end of the day about why they're getting involved in the SGA and what their vision is, so I won't steal their thunder anymore. But clearly, it's important for me to recognize and celebrate the fact that the next phase of this work involves a Sport Council-wide partnership and a unified approach to governance support in our sector. Looking more closely at the next phase of the SGA, there are also several new features which I want to highlight to you, and which hopefully also follow from my earlier reflections about moving from compliance to culture. So we'll have a new course to be offered on board culture, a board fund where you can apply to have the SGA deliver bespoke courses to your full board, a much more manageable bite-sized modular approach to a governance qualification with a bursary sponsorship scheme for individuals so it opens up access to more people, a redesign of the website to ensure it links with other providers and helps to untangle where you go to get the best advice on different topics, not just the ones that the SGA provides advice on directly. And finally, and probably most importantly, a peer-to-peer mentoring scheme. It's this new element which brings me on to my third and final area of focus. Our call to action for what we hope you will want to do with the SGA going forwards. The introduction of peer-to-peer mentoring is a step change in how we hope the SGA will evolve over the next 5 years of our investment. We know many of you have been doing excellent work in this area, and you do it not just because of a code requirement, you do it because you believe in the value of good governance for your own organizations. We want that work and that ethos to continue, and we want to have the opportunity to share that with your peers and help inspire each other to continue the good work. We see great examples of leadership in the areas of moving from compliance to culture, and we want to bring leaders together to share solutions to the challenging issues we all face. The Sports Governance Academy, I said it so well, like 6 times, belongs to you. Hopefully, it will be your safe place where you can access the resources and support you need, including a brilliant support team. Working in governance in the sector can be a lonely place, but it doesn't need to be, and we hope the SGA can become your support network and your place to go. We hope you'll be able to help shape it and develop it so it delivers for your needs. We want you to set the agenda and to help to be part of a movement of sports governance leaders who make a real difference to the culture of sport. We sincerely hope that today's conference helps you feel a strong sense of connection and ownership with the Academy. So, that's it from me. Thank you so much for your attention. Just remember that today is your day, that this Academy is your Academy, so please do make the most of it. Challenge yourself to network with others and switch off your other distractions. If you can, switch off your other distractions if you can. Make the most of it. It's an opportunity to step away from the day-to-day and be immersed in something really important to the future of our sector. Let's remember that trust is built and maintained by many small actions.